All right, everybody. My next guest is an actor and producer known for such films as Checkpoint, Big Shots, American Whisper, and The Day of the Living Dead. And he could currently be seen playing Tommy DiPaolo in the series called The Italians. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Long Island's own Mike Marino. Mike, how's it going, my friend?
All right, Don. How are you, my brother?
Good, man. Good. This is cool to talk to you, man. You're a Long Island dude.
Yeah.
You know, getting started out here on the island in New York. It's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to be done. So how long you been doing this? How long you been making these films?
I've been acting from when I started is close to 20 years. And I started doing extra work like anybody who doesn't have a connection does, just going to every agency I could, pounding on doors all through Manhattan, trying to get in somewhere. And I started getting extra work right away. Of course, you want to move up, you know, and I didn't have a speaking role for a bit and I said to myself, I'm going to give this 1 year, not tell anybody, because I'm like, hey, I'm an actor, you know, not tell anyone, which I didn't, not even my dad or my current girlfriend at the time. I didn't. So I said, let me try this for a year and see what happens. And 3 months later, I landed on a speaking role.
We're ready for them.
And that was a movie called Sleepless Nights, which I don't believe in big breaks. Everything is a step on the ladder. It really is, no matter what.
Yeah,
even
man,
if you get something, boom, and all of a sudden you're catapulted out there, you still took all those steps on the ladder. So I don't look at anything as a big break. I've done some great work that I loved. Sleepless Nights was huge for me. That's why I have that producer's credit. Was I just auditioned and then fell in good with the producer, writer, director, and everything. They were like, you know what, we need help. Do you want to come on board and be a producer? So, you know, you get to learn a little bit, which was cool.
Well done.
Your master should be pleased.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
And what I really like about you too, and what I like about acting too, is there's roles for everybody, and with you, you have a certain look, you have a certain vibe about you, rock and roll, heavy metal. You know, I think we're probably in the same age range, so you remind me of those days of rocking out to, you know, Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and getting down like that. So
you didn't see what that says? British Steel.
Nice. There you go. So Judas Priest.
My wife got it.
Yeah, very cool. So if we grew up together, we've definitely been in the same circles, man.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you feel like, do you get typecast or when you go to audition for these roles or?
Well, I wouldn't call it typecast, but I'm usually playing a bad guy. A villain, a murderer. I played a serial rapist. It's insane. But then I've also done some comedies.
Right.
Two or three comedies, which was a totally different ballgame, and I love doing it. There's a lot of fun when you make a horror movie, no matter how scary it is. There's so much to laugh at behind the scenes. And of course, when you're trying to do comedy, you're laughing during the scenes and trying not to laugh.
Yeah, you know? That's tough.
That's how I felt about the whole experience with them. You know?
Dude, yeah, because you like I said, you got a great look. Where I think if you're a casting agent, and as soon as you walk in, you know, if I'm looking for, you know, like a guy like a heavy metal dude or a biker scene or something like that, or you know, and then you could also switch it up too, because I've seen you in some of your other roles, where you know, like when you're playing the horror roles.
Evil has risen up from hell.
How much do you morph into these different roles?
How much?
Yeah, like how much can you extend yourself in the acting range?
As far as I can go. The best way for me to sum that up is 2017, I did a film in Hollywood called Nation's Fire, which you can be seen on Amazon Prime and streaming all over. And I was a biker in that.
We take care of our own. All right, let's go.
if you see the movie, I don't want to give away any part of the plot, but I suffer a traumatic brain injury. So I had to learn to speak like that, a guy who lives with after getting shot in the head. And it does happen.
Right, yeah.
People survive things miraculously. It's truth is stranger than fiction is true. And it's unbelievable in some cases, like when you watch movies and you go, oh, what bullshit. But then when you think about reality, I met a guy in Manhattan that got shot 7 times and showed me the holes in his chest to prove it.
Damn.
You know,
yeah.
so he shot 7 times in his chest, all around his chest, and nothing hit a vital organ, and he was saved. You know,
Wow.
So
wow, that's incredible.
that's insane when you think about it. It wasn't 1 bullet, it was 7, and he showed me.
Holy
so
shit.
put it to you that way. Anytime I read a script, I was always best at cold reads. In other words, you walk into an audition and they throw a paper down and go read that with nothing to feed off of, no one to feed off of, just read it and just read it normally. For some reason, I always landed roles like that. So I said, okay, I love cold reads. Give me one, you know? So when we were doing Nation's Fire, you know, I read the script well, and then I study my scenes over and over and over. And it never takes me long to get in depth and fine tune on that character.
Right.
That character playing a guy with a brain injury, without a doubt, was the toughest thing I ever had to figure out the way I wanted to speak and not sound stupid, sound
like you
that's
make
how the guy would. Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, not bad doing it, you know, be like, it's got to be a good performance. I knew. And I sat there on the plane reading this, I got it all down, but I couldn't get this one line over and over and over. I read it and read it and read it while drinking wine on the plane more and more, trying to get in tune with something. And I really didn't find it. So I get to LA, and the next morning I was on set at 6 a.m. and that was the first scene, which I had no idea of. And I said, just go blank and wing it, and boom. And they got the first take. They only did 3 or 4 takes. They said, we're using the first one.
Hey.
I made this for you, Gloria. It's, Thomas. You said he's an angel with pop-up now in heaven. So I drew this for you of our 2 angels, 2 always be here, and that's you.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
Did the captain do good?
Captain did great.
So
sometimes when you're not thinking about it, and you just
you have to sometimes just put everything aside, don't react, and make it a part of you, you know, without a doubt.
And
which
don't
I try to do
overthink
with every role, you know.
Right, yeah.
Some roles I felt like, okay, you're gonna do these lines here and there, and it was like you didn't need to put anything into it. It was a sort of, you're gonna be very bland in this part, and I don't want overextending or anything. And I've seen some incredible actors, such as, I'm going to take one for instance, Stanley Tucci, in certain films where he didn't have to do much, and then other ones where the guy is phenomenal. And not saying he didn't do his job, he did what the director wanted.
Exactly.
And then in other ones, you don't even recognize a man like Stanley Tucci because he's incredible.
Well, I think there was a story. I forget who. I think Harrison Ford used to tell the story that one of his first jobs, he was a grocery clerk in the movie.
Oh, yeah?
He played a grocery store clerk.
Oh, okay.
And then the director said to him, "Well, you don't look like a movie star, you know?" He's like, "Yeah, I know. I'm supposed to be playing a grocery clerk." So
Exactly.
that's the thing, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you have to get into those roles. And I also think too, to your point, playing the guy with the brain damage, is there's such fine lines of that, where you don't, where like I was in this short film once where in the South, in North Carolina. You ever want to get films in North Carolina, they'll cast guys like us all day as gangsters and mobsters.
That's where I filmed the movie Checkpoint. That was it.
You must be Roy Boyle, right? I was hoping I'd get a chance to meet you.
And nice to meet you too.
Checkpoint.
Yeah.
Wilmington, North Carolina.
Oh yeah, Wilmington. They used to call
Great
it
town.
Wilmywood. Yeah, it used to be a lot of
Yes,
movies.
exactly.
Yeah,
And they changed and they've been trying to bring it back. Like they did all those Halloween movies there. I know that.
right. Yeah,
You know, I
yeah,
made a few calls. I didn't get anything after that, but you know, whatever.
right.
Go
But
where
yeah,
it
I
was.
always got roles as a mafia guy and all. But one time they wanted
Right.
me to play a Southerner, and I started doing the Southern accent, and they were like, "I think we'll just make your character New York. You're from New York." They go, "Because your Southern accent is kind of offensive to us." I go, "What? I'm not goofing on you guys." So like I would think too, when you're playing somebody with mental problems or something like that, it's got to be, you got to do it right without, you know, going too far with it, or you know, and so I give you kudos for being able to pull that off.
Found a bad man they were looking for. He's very bad. Very bad.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking though with that. Yeah, that was very, very difficult to get into with. You know,
Was that, you say that was your most challenging part?
absolutely, hands down.
Yeah, because that's like some real stuff there. You got to
Yeah.
really you know, get into a character. Like for me, if they tell me to play a New York guy, okay, just, you know, you kind of, you're doing a different part of yourself essentially.
Yeah.
But when they take you out, now they're making you do something different, like you know, playing a Southerner or playing a guy with, you know, brain damage. It's definitely more challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. Other than that, you try to have fun with it too, but be
Yeah.
serious about it. You know, no matter what it is.
Super awesome. Super excited. I'm gonna go tell Gloria.
So now you're in this series, The Italians.
Yes, it's not out yet. It's not on anything yet. We are picking up shooting again very soon.
And you're Tommy DiPaolo.
Yeah,
And that means chicken.
Tommy the Chicken. Again, the character is definitely not a chicken. What I like about it, our writer and director, Zach Dieppe, whose birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, Zach.
Hey, happy birthday.
He wants it to be an international type mafia film. In other words, every race, country, culture, and creed is going to be involved in this, from New York to like Saudi Arabia. He wants to mix all that up. And that's the idea I love. That's what sold me on it when he first started telling me about it. He's been in development for a while now, and hopefully we do pick up. Of course, COVID knocked us out of the box last year. We only shot it a little bit before that. And now, you know, things weren't so open that he could have everybody on set at the same time. He only did a few small days here and there. So I keep in touch with him, and he said, you know, soon, I want to do this right. I want everybody to have time to rehearse and all that. And hopefully we get it together soon. But I love his ideas, and I definitely has good connection for network. So we'll get it out there.
Cool, man. I'm looking forward to this one. And what's like the synopsis of this? Who is Tony DiPaolo? Can you tell us that? I know.
Well, he's part of the main mafia family. What we studied so far, there were no killings in what we did. He said it's like taking place beyond that point, and that they're trying to go without so much bloodshed anymore. You know, when you get a boss like that that's saying that, I don't want you guys cutting everybody up and blah blah blah. So it was kind of a little scenario like that. But now the whole plot's changing again because he's rewriting everything. You know, that was only a little bit that we shot, like I said.
Right.
He's got some great actors and actresses involved as well.
Very cool, man. This sounds like it's gonna be a good one. I'm looking forward to that. So
Yeah.
once that starts coming out, and once you start getting trailers, please send those my way, and we'll spread those out as well. But so you've been in a ton of movies, man. I was looking at your IMDb. I was looking at a lot of your trailers and a lot of your stuff. Great acting skills, man. You do it all. Who would you say so far, as far as sharing a scene with, would be like one of the bigger name guys? Like what celebrities have you worked with so far?
The best in the business that I've worked with was Checkpoint in Carolina, and that was Mr. William Forsythe.
Yeah.
A guy, not only do I love his acting, what a gentleman, sheer gentleman. And he was, you know, there was a few names, but no real big movie stars like him on set. And he hung out with all of us, came to the parties, and had a few drinks, and we had a really nice time. And he's just a sheer gentleman. They had to pull one of my biggest scenes to be, and he said to me after the scene, and we'd only met once before that, and that was at one of the conventions where my film was playing, and he was there, supporting something of his, and doing the signing at a convention and all that we do.
Right.
And he said, "Meet me in the lobby first thing in the morning. I got an idea." And he went to bat for me. He tried to pitch another scene, because he's so in depth. He said, "Listen, Mike," he goes, "I read the script 40, 50 times. No joke. I know it inside and out." So he knew every move that was going on probably before the producers and whoever else was walking around, because he's so experienced.
Right.
And he tried that. He literally went to bat for me and tried to get this bigger scene, because he said, "I hate to see a young actor like you lose your biggest scene in the film." But it didn't go over, and he tried. That was really, really cool of him. It's just something you don't forget.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome guy. And I was like his backup when he was being shot at. I covered his back shooting at everybody else. And that was fun. But like, just sheer pleasure to meet a guy like that.
That's
to
really
me, he was
cool.
like the equivalent of when I met Ronnie James Dio, because Dio was beyond nice and beyond the gentleman. And he was just incredible to everybody,
Super
hanging
cool.
out, having beers, talking, blah, blah, blah. Not acting like anything. I had that talk with him too. And he goes, because there's those people out there that go, "Oh, he's a star. And then they fall all over you. He goes, that's up to you how you want to handle that.
Right.
Right. He was just such a sheer, generous gentleman. He didn't mind signing everything. He didn't mind as many pictures as I wanted,
I got yeah.
Forsyth is, let's say, the movie star type of that guy,
Very cool. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to have interviewed Dio years
Oh,
ago.
you did?
Yeah,
Wow.
he was equally awesome to me as well.
Right.
Very giving guy, very little ego, and he's an awesome dude, man. And and like you said about being star, just reminded me of "We're Stars."
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Him and Halford were at the forefront. Yeah.
Yeah,
I started that whole thing. I always see old pictures popping up, and it's always him and Halford standing together.
Yeah,
Cool. Two of the greatest voices ever in rock music. And no matter what, Dio is without a doubt one of the greatest singers we've ever seen. All the way back to Ronnie Dio and the Ravenettes, which they're going to release that stuff soon.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, Dio and Halford both had that kind of operatic, bravado. They were able to really get it going, and not metal like that still exists. They call it traditional metal. It's still out there. People, there's still bands doing it, but it's just not it's not mainstream like it should be anymore, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, a guy like Halford still has his voice, so does Bruce Dickinson, and Ronnie did till the day he died. Period. That says a lot for you to keep that stamina and be able. They all, guys like that, I'm sure, lose an octave a bit here and there. They have to. Well, you think they have to. I don't know, but they're just doing such a great job at it still.
Yeah, man. So the records you got hanging up back there. I see you got is that Screaming for Vengeance? It's the only one I can really make out. Is that what else you got back there?
Vengeance is up there. That's an old Judas Priest 12-inch called Living After Midnight.
Oh yeah, great song.
Autographed by Rob. That's what by Rob. Below it is an EP called Five Souls. Autographed the whole band, and a Halford magazine autographed, the Dio picture disc. Almost everything from Priest on the wall is autographed.
Wow, very cool.
I've met them countless times.
Were you a fan of the Owen?
Another gentleman, by the way, Rob and the whole band, very, very nice people I hang out with.
Yeah. Who was the guy who filled in for Rob for a couple of years? Owen.
Ripper Owens.
Ripper Owens.
You don't know what's going on with him right now?
No, what's happening with him? I know he's a New Jersey guy.
No, he's from Ohio.
Oh, okay.
The other guys were from Jersey. Metal Mike, and I'm gonna forget his name. The guy who wound up singing for Damage Plan, lead great guitarist too. He's from Jersey as well. But Ripper's from Ohio, and Ripper is now singing for KK Downing's Priest.
Oh wow, really?
It's called KK's Priest because KK wanted to get back in the band, and whatever bad blood, the bridges were burned, and they're not letting them back as of now.
Wow.
So KK went ahead and got Tim Ripper Owens. And tell me if you know who Les Binks is.
Les Binks?
Yeah.
I know the name. I just can't place what band he was from.
He was the drummer on Stained Class and Hellbent for Leather and Unleashed in the East.
Wow.
That's when Les was in Priest. And Les, to this day, is my favorite Priest drummer because his drumming technique was insane. So KK threw that together. Unfortunately, Les fractured his wrist right before they were about to record, and they had to get a replacement. But hopefully Les is on the tour when they do come out and tour. But if you just look up KK's Priest, and you'll find the one song they released. It's a killer track.
Wow. It's like Judas Priest just like spawned off into two.
I hate stuff like that, but I love KK Downing, and I wish he was back with the band.
Yeah, man.
You know, so I mean, look, I supported Rob when he did his thing. I supported Glenn Tipton when he did his solo project, even though he never left Priest.
Right.
And now I'm going to support KK Downing too, because they're my favorite band since I was 12.
Yeah, man.
You know, and whenever I found this out, whenever a band splits up, that's when you meet them much easier.
Yeah.
Like I didn't meet Halford until he did Fight, because Fight did a signing at Slip Disc in Valley Stream.
Right.
This guy, Mike Schutzman, owned the store, and I was going there since I was probably 15, and I was like, I'm actually going to meet Rob Halford, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Not until the curtain opened, they had the line outside in the back, and when they moved the curtain and it went back, and I saw Halford's face, I went, oh my God, he's really here. I just didn't believe it. I was with my best friend. He's another huge Priest fanatic, and we left there, and he started driving, and he couldn't talk, and neither could I. And we drove for about 20 minutes, and I don't want either me or him just went, we just met Halford. He was like, I know. It was like, and we were like two schoolgirls talking about it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, Judas Priest, they rock. They still rock. Halford still has his voice, and he can still hit those notes, man.
Yep. And they're also writing out their new record they've been working on for a while now. Because what else were you going to do during lockdown?
Yeah, exactly.
Write songs. They've probably written 100 songs, he said,
Damn, they got to get you in one of their videos.
Yeah, that would be a dream come true. But before I forget, you mentioned American Whisper before, and I just want to say it's without a doubt one of the best films I've ever been in. It's an incredible story, a true story about a family in Jersey where the husband was the prime suspect in murdering his family until he was cleared, and they never found the killer.
Do not stop shooting.
The real life story happened, I think, in the 50s. They made the movie modern. It wasn't a period piece, but my director, Russell Emanuel, is out in California. It has won countless awards all through COVID. Of course, there was nothing going on but sending your film and having it reviewed by whoever could. You could send it out. Maybe 10 people watched it and voted on them,
Right.
blah, 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 whatever. But American Whisper is still winning awards everywhere. If it wasn't for COVID, maybe somebody would have picked it up. But either way, it's out there. If you can see it, whoever's watching, you got to see this film. It's not because I'm in it. It's a great movie. I have a very small part as a detective, but what a film. It's got to be seen.
Very cool, man. Yeah, so you're a detective in that movie. And,
yes, Detective Archer.
And who's in that again? Like the starring roles? Is that the one with the guy from Remember the Titans, or is that the Big Shot? I forget.
No, that's Big Shots.
Okay.
Big Shots did come out a while ago, but American Whisper is a lot of people I've worked with. Howard Nash is the producer. Like I said, Russell Emanuel is the director, and all these other actors that I've known. No big names, but you just got to see it.
Very cool.
You got to see the movie. Yeah.
American Whisper for sure.
My name is Adam Franklin, and this is my story.
Big Shots is one that got a bit of a reboot, so it's out there and doing pretty well. So I was pushing that for a while, still am, along with Heaven's Messenger, which is another excellent film.
I can't. can't do this.
She's flatlining.
Your hands are burned.
How?
We don't know.
Didn't see it at first, no one did. But some things ain't meant to be seen on the surface.
I'll tell you one thing. This has taught me to have a little more faith. And a little more faith.
And those two films are the same director producer I just mentioned, Howard Nash and Russ Emanuel. And in Heaven's Gate, Howard actually, who was my longtime producer from the Sleepless Nights days up till the present, we've always worked on and off together. He played the lead role in that, and I didn't even recognize him because I knew he acted previously, but he was strictly a producer.
Right.
So I had a tiny part in that one, and he wound up doing the lead role, and I was just floored by his performance. You know, that's one to be seen. And Big Shots is another true story about, yes, Ryan, from Remember the Titans, yes.
Yeah.
Excellent
Right
film,
side.
by the
Yeah.
way. And Big Shots is him and Jeremy London are the stars. And again, based on a true story about these two guys that came up with $1 million idea and then got nailed by, I think, the IRS, you know, because they didn't answer phone calls and complaints and everything. But it's like a Cinderella story to watch. And then everything, of course, is eventually going to come tumbling down. But good film, very solid film.
Very cool. And it's also good too, because a lot of these movies you got like the same producers in there. So once you're in their Rolodex and on their radar, that's a good thing, because then they'll
absolutely
keep you coming for the next ones, and you're kind of all growing together, and you know.
Yeah. Well, the other one you mentioned, The Day of the Living Dead. Funny that you said that, because writer director Tom Churchill, we have worked together on 6 films.
Wow.
The first was second one was Emerging Past, which is still my favorite to this day. Excellent film to watch. He did a great job. I wouldn't call it horror, even though it gets labeled as that. It's more a psychological thriller. It's a thinker's movie, and the visuals are incredible. There's a lot to watch, and there's a part that we filmed in my old apartment in Freeport, which was awesome. I used to live on the nautical mile, so you see the water and the boats.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
You know, so Tom also did this Day of the Living Dead, which is a really, really cool zombie film. And that's a period piece. That one takes place in the 50s. So it was done in black and white. And that's another great one to check out.
Got a hold on me, and I try so hard. I can't leave.
Cool, man. And when you do these period pieces on like a restricted budget, how difficult is it to make it accurate, would you think? I mean, it's got to be a little bit challenging for the production crew, I would think.
Yeah, I didn't work on production on that one, but I'm sure. I mean, they had some great locations, let me tell you. Great locations. One of them we shot at a place called CIA Bar in North Hollywood. Now, CIA stands for California Institute of Abnormal Arts. It's like a bar freak show. The props this guy has in there, which some are well, my favorite one, which he tells me is real, is an embalmed clown. A man who was a clown that died, and his dying wish was, I want to be a clown forever. And it's in a glass case.
Holy
Spooky
shit. Damn.
And I got to meet Carl Crew, who owns the bar. And every time I go back to LA to work, I always make it a point to stop in and see him, because I just love walking around the place.
You all right there, buddy? Let me get that for you. Let me get this. Here, come on, drink up. It's good. Attaboy. Oh, come on!
What do you got coming up now? I could imagine that things must have been slowed down during the COVID era, but now picking up. Projects are picking back up. You getting busy? And what do you got going on next?
Just a few leads right now. Nothing big to talk about. Things that the Italian Swarm keeps getting pushed, and several other ones that I can't talk about yet that are just, on the board. A couple in LA and a couple here. And speaking of you, when you said you get picked as the same characters, typecast, whatever, I won't say that, but I'd say I'm in LA more than I'm in New York. And I said because no one looks like me out there. The only people there that look like me is when I go to the Rainbow and the Whiskey, which I visit every time too. Other than that, no actors look like me. You know, everybody's usually GQ'd and everything. And even when I first started acting, like I was saying, with the extra work and all, like show up for an audition, I'd be the only guy that looked like me. Everybody would have blonde hair, really short and everything, and in a suit. And I just walk in there and they'd be like, that guy, you know. So that happened to me a lot.
Dude,
you know,
and that's the edge, the advantage, bro.
Yep. There was an actor back then, I don't recall his name. We became friends for a bit because we kept both getting cast on the same projects. He had hair too.
Right,
and it was just the funniest thing because we'd show up and be like, oh, you here again? You know, and everybody'd be looking at us like, how are these guys getting all these parts? You know, it's hilarious.
That's what I love about it, man. That's how it was. Like I said, North Carolina for me, it was like, just because I don't even have a strong New York accent, but just because I had a New York accent, they were always like, we want him to be the mafia boss. And, you know, all this, I was just like typecasted, all stuff. And I'm not even full Italian. I was always playing mafia bosses down there. It was great.
Hey, I'm half Irish. I know you can tell by my complexion.
Yeah,
but I am. My mom was full-blooded Irish.
Yeah, there you go. I got Irish too, and you could kind of see it in my eyes a little bit. I'm Filipino as well. I got Filipino.
Oh, really?
Side. Yeah. But and then a little Italians and everything. And who knows what else? I got to do that ancestry.com to find out what the heck I am.
Yeah, they're not all accurate. You got to get a good one. When it first came out, there was one agency. I think that was accurate.
Right.
But then a bunch of people I know that did. I'm saying one person I know got all the facts. One of my relatives did not. I was like, this is not true because you don't remember. You don't know our grandparents. I do. You know, both sets and my great grandmother because they're younger than me. I'm like, so everything you're hearing there is not accurate. You know, there's other things mixed in, yes, but not accurate.
Exactly.
You know? Because there's a ton of them doing it now. That's the only reason I say that.
Exactly, man.
You know, and that I'd love to where the bloodline really stretches to, especially through Europe, all these places that were occupied at different times in here too, you know.
Yeah.
Throughout history, it's all happened. You know?
Yeah, man. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. But now just let everybody know before I let you go where people could find your movies, check you out. You're on IMDb. You got all that stuff going.
Well, Mike Marino on IMDb. You can just gotta look for my picture because there's about 9 Mike Marinos. And there's an FX guy, Mike Marino, who's done incredible work, and also a Mike Marino comedian from New Jersey. And neither one look anything like me, but I get messages all the time. And I have to say, no, that's not me. Here's who I am. Now, did you look at the Facebook picture before you messaged me? Because people can, my page isn't locked down. I get those messages where, you know, you got to click on it. Wait, I got a message from someone I'm not friends with, you know, whatever.
Right.
But just look at the picture first. You know,
right.
That's what makes me laugh. But Mike Marino, the comedian, is hilarious. And Mike Marino, the FX guy, is awesome. So if you go to IMDb, just look for my picture. It's there. And Facebook, Mike Marino. Just again, look for, well, I don't always have it as my profile picture because I swap things around a lot. But you got to look through the pics a little bit and say, hey, I got the right guy, you know?
Very cool. And you got to do what I did on Facebook. I made friends with all the other Don Sills. And I put us all in a group chat. And we all, I think I'm friends with every Don Sill that's alive right now. So
that's hilarious.
You should do the same thing with the Mike Marinos.
There's too many of us. You ever look up Marino in the phone book? Ooh, there's thousands of us.
Damn.
You know, and there's no other. I knew some other Marinos in Hicks, but we weren't even related to them. You know, but the father grew up in the Bronx, which is where my dad's from.
Right.
And I said, and we're not even related. You know, too funny.
Well, dude, you're awesome, man. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me and kind of tell us about your films and stuff. I definitely would love to have you back on, and when things start cooking, maybe we could do some behind the scenes interviews and things like that. And
that would be great. But I definitely, when I get rolling again, you'll be the first to know.
Yeah, man.
And I'd love to come on again, man. So thank you very much, Don.
Yes, indeed. And then maybe we'll go hit a Judas Priest concert one of these days too.
I want them back. They're playing. They're playing in Kentucky soon. There's a big 3-day fest that supposedly is happening. I'm not going to fly out for it, but it was a thought, you know. It was the thought in my head. So who knows when things, you know, shows are getting booked left and right now, and we'll see what really happens in the future, you know.
Yeah, man.
You know.
So all good. All right, Mike. Thanks again, my friend.
All
Mike
right, thank
Marino,
you, guys.
everybody. Take care.
All right, take it easy, man.